Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about what if Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo was a therapist? What type of therapist would he be? So, if Fred Jones were a therapist, he would undoubtedly practice a highly unique and perhaps unconventional form of therapy, deeply rooted in his established personality. Here's a speculation on the type of therapy he would practice. Mystery-oriented behavioral therapy, or the trap method for unmasking inner demons. Here's a breakdown of what that would entail. Core principles. Problem as a mystery. Fred would frame every client's issue as a mystery to be solved. He'd encourage clients to see their anxieties, fears, or dysfunctional patterns not as inherent flaws, but as ghosts or monsters that are creating problems and need to be unmasked. The clue-gathering phase. Initial sessions would be dedicated to meticulous clue gathering. Fred would be incredibly detailed, asking exhaustive questions about the client's past, present triggers, recurring thoughts, and relationships. He might even have a dedicated mystery board in his office where he pins up notes, photos, and timelines looking for patterns. Identifying the culprit, the root cause. Through this clue gathering, Fred would guide clients to identify the villain or culprit behind their issues. This could be a specific traumatic event, a deeply ingrained negative thought pattern, or a maladaptive coping mechanism. He'd likely say, "Aha! It seems the real monster here is your fear of rejection disguised as procrastination." The trap development. Behavioral interventions. This is where Fred's genius for traps would come into play. He wouldn't literally build physical traps in his office, but he would design highly structured, step-by-step behavioral interventions that function like psychological traps to catch and expose the culprit. Exposure traps. For anxiety or phobias, he'd devise elaborate exposure traps where clients gradually confront their fears in controlled, incremental steps designed to unmask the irrationality of the fear. Cognitive traps. For negative thought patterns, he might design cognitive traps, thought-challenging exercises, journaling prompts, or specific questions designed to corner or expose distorted thinking. Social skills traps. For social anxieties, he'd create social traps, structured role-playing scenarios or guided real-world interactions designed to practice new behaviors and capture more positive social outcomes. The unmasking and revealing the true identity. The moment of breakthrough would be the unmasking, where the client realizes the true nature of their issues and how to overcome it. Fred would likely have a dramatic flair for this, possibly saying, "And look, it wasn't a monster at all, but simply your own self-doubt." Teamwork and collaboration. Like with the Mystery Machine Gang, Fred would emphasize collaboration. He'd see himself as a guide, but the client would be the primary detective in their own life. The ascot of understanding. While perhaps not a formal technique, Fred would likely maintain his composed, slightly formal demeanor, possibly adjusting his imaginary ascot as he listens intently, giving off an air of unflappable understanding. Potential downsides and quirks. Over-reliance on traps. He might sometimes try to force a trap solution even when a more fluid, less structured approach is needed. Limited emotional expression. While empathetic, his focus on logic and solving the mystery might mean he occasionally overlooks purely emotional processing that doesn't fit neatly into a clue or trap. Exaggerated explanations. His explanations of psychological concepts might involve overly elaborate metaphors about pulleys, ropes, and hidden mechanisms. Post-session debriefing. He might end sessions with a "let's review the clues and the trap's effectiveness" type of debriefing. In essence, Fred Jones's therapy would be a highly structured, solution-focused, and almost like a detective agency for the mind, where every emotional struggle is a mystery waiting for a perfectly designed trap to reveal its true, often less frightening identity. So what do you think? What do you think about Fred Jones's approach to therapy, and would you want him as your therapist? Let me know in the comments, and I'll speak to you next time.